हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन ज़रूर दबाएं।
Pranam, Namaskar. I'm Raghav from TNC Live, BSR Media. So I'm welcoming to one of beautiful two sannyasins, which is the beautiful pair, and they took sannyas in 1978 directly from Bhagwan. So today we are doing this very special episode of Dhyan Ke Beej Karuna Ke Kalpvriksh 108 Seeds Transformed by Bhagwan Shri Rajneesh or Osho. So this couple is very beautiful, and I can say this because uh, Osho gave name to Ma Prem Malika to Ma and Swami ji to Isa. So welcome Swamiji and Ma in this special program.
My name is Ma Anand Malika.
Okay. And Swamiji, what's your beautiful name?
Isa.
So Swamiji, there is a one story of this Isa. Okay. Can you tell us before we are going to start this program?
Say that
About
again.
your
I didn't hear your question.
Okay. So I'm just asking, okay, there is a beautiful story behind your Isa name. So can you tell us about this beautiful story?
Well, Osho initially gave me the name of Swami Prem Hamid, but in 1992, Malika was meditating, and when she got done meditating, she said the name Isa came to her, and that would be my new name. And so I said, fine, and that's how I became Swami Prem Isa.
So beautiful, Swamiji. See, I'm going to start this program, and there are so many beautiful questions about this your beautiful journey. So, can you tell us first how you come to know about Osho?
A dear friend of ours had a gathering at his house, and his wife had just come back from Pune, and she was enthralled, and they had us doing Osho meditations and listening to Osho discourses from tape, and that's where we first got to know him. And then he left his tapes at the hospital where we both worked, and I got a hold of him, and we spent the next month or so just going over the tapes over and over and over again until finally I said to Malika, at the time we were with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and I said to her, we either have to go to Maharishi or to Osho. And we took the I Ching and we tossed the coins on the I Ching, and it had heaven on earth and heaven above and earth on below, which was the number one hexagram. Heaven above and below. And we decided to go to Pune to be with Osho. We left and we went there, and Malika went to one of his discourses in Hindi, and she just sat there and listened to him, and she just started crying. And she said, I need to take sannyas. And that's where it began. Are you there, Swamiji? Hello? Don't do that. After a bit of time, I want to take sannyas quite as quickly as Malika did. Osho and I, in my dreams, we fought a bit. He would smile and I would argue. He would smile and laugh, and I would argue. And finally, at one point, I said, "You win," and I took sannyas. Of course, taking sannyas wasn't very quick for me because I went to see Lakshmi, and she asked me if I would wear the colors in the mala the rest of my life. And I said, well, how would I know if I'm going to wear something like that the rest of my life? And she said, well, go away. And so she refused to give me a sannyas. So about a week later, it hit me that in the moment, I would wear it for the rest of my life. So I went back to Lakshmi. And before I even said a word to her, she said, well, you can have sannyas now. So that's next day we went and Osho gave at that time Bhagwan gave Malika her name and gave me my name and gave our son his name of Wahid.
Beautiful, Swamiji. Swamiji, can you remember when you took sannyas? Okay, what was the feeling inside? I just
For
want
me,
to ask from both of you the same question.
okay, for me, when I went and took sannyas with Osho, he put his hand on my forehead, fingers, and I just went empty. There was nothing there, and I totally don't remember any of it that took place. Malika had a different experience. Tell me yours, Ma.
When I went in front of Osho Bhagwan, it was so beautiful that I can't really express it in words. I was showered with his blessings and his love, which I realized it was really my own love that was coming forth. It was such a profound love beyond words that I was feeling for Bhagwan.
Every time that I went in front of Osho, every time I went in front of
Yes.
Osho, I just I went blank. If I had a question to ask Osho, I would tell Malika, and she would ask Osho, and then she'd tell me later on what the answer was. Because I just was always blown away.
Can you tell us about this beautiful picture?
That was our leaving darshan. And each one of us received the gift from Bhagwan, which was a little box that had a piece of his hair or a fingernail or something in it, and as a thing to put under our pillow so we can always experience him. And we were just in bliss at that moment. I think you can look at Malika's face and see that she was gone. But that was our leaving darshan.
Yes. Swamiji, I would like to ask one more thing. Okay. So when you see first time Osho, so can you tell us about that also?
Well, I was always resistant to any type of change like this. And when I first saw Osho, I didn't have much thoughts at all about him. But after I started being with him more and more, I fell in love with him. I just the emotions in me were at a peak. I just saw him as a doorway to myself, and he was just guiding me. He was my guide through life, and it just has not stopped. I still see him as my guide, my master. Um, was allowing me to see myself and to flow with him. But it took me a while because I was resistant. My male ego just got in the way of everything until I finally saw that and said, "Okay, I feel love for you." In fact, when I asked the I Ching about moving to India, the question I asked was, "Do I love Osho?" And now the answer is yes. But when I first saw him, I wasn't overly excited by seeing him. But by the end of the first week, um, my whole perspective changed.
Let me tell a little story about um, our experience with Bhagwan. When we first got there and I saw him, he was speaking in Hindi. I had no idea what he was saying. It didn't matter because I felt his energy. And I just started crying and I couldn't stop crying. And then when he left the podium, I went to where where his feet were, and I put my body on that spot. And I just, it was amazing, the love and the energy that I felt. And so, and Issa saw me doing all this, and I told him that I wanted to take sannyas, and he said, "Well, you can take sannyas, and you can stay in India, and you can rot with Bhagwan, and I'm going to take our son and go back to the United States, and you just stay here." Well, didn't know what to do. I was crying. So I wrote to Osho. I wrote him a letter and I told him what was going on. And he answered me with one word: wait. So I stopped worrying about it. I just waited. And when the time was right, Issa wanted to take sannyas. Everything happened in a very, very beautiful way.
Swamiji, I would like to ask one more thing. Okay. Looking at the Osho's eyes, yesterday and today, what would you like to say?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You broke up a bit. Would you repeat it?
Yes. Looking at the Osho's eyes, yesterday and today, what you would like to say about this?
Osho has given me the greatest gift I've ever had in my life. And that's being with him, experiencing him, feeling him, and through him, feeling and experiencing myself. It's given me the opportunity to let go of a lot of ego that I had about Malika, about my relationships, about my world. And I attribute all my life now to what Osho has given me. Go ahead, Mom.
Oh, at the same question?
Yes.
Yes, Ma, yes. You have to also answer.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Just go ahead and tell me what you think.
Oh, well, Osho is still a blessing in my life. I still feel his presence within me, and he's always with me. His essence is always with me, and I will always love him and be so grateful that I had the chance to be with him in person, and actually to talk with him one-on-one. We had several speaking darshans with Osho Bhagwan, which were just totally amazing. And one of them, I wanted to ask him a question, and I asked him. I said, "Isa I don't feel the love between us all the time," and and so he said, "Well." He took our hands and he held hands with us for a few minutes. And then he said, the love between you is very, very strong. It's very beautiful. And so I was blown away by that. But then I got very, my ego came in, and I said, I want Osho, I want Isa to love me all the time. Sometimes he doesn't love me. I want him to love me all the time. And he said, your love is like a Ferris wheel. Sometimes you're at the bottom and Isa is at the top. And sometimes Isa is at the top and you are at the bottom. But every once in a while, you both are at the top and woo-wee.
And then he also told her that when I'm not loving her, that he's loving her 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so that ended the talking darshan. But that's our feelings for Osho have matured significantly, yeah, for me at least, is that he has taken a place in my heart that no one else has ever been able to touch. Malika is probably the closest one that has ever got that close to me. And we meditate daily with him. Our sanctuary has got all his photos and statues of different masters, but his pictures are all over the place. And we've had people come here and taken sannyas with us, through us, not with us, but through us for Osho. We've had music groups here with Milarepa and with Miten and Deva, and all of this is in honor of Osho. So our love and growth with him has just been exponential.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. I would like to ask one more thing. What people seek today when coming to Osho rest compared to before? Can you tell us about this also? How do you feel?
You mean when people come here and see all the stuff about Osho? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just asking in general. Okay, general. Like what people seek today. Okay, when they are coming to Osho rest compared to before. Like it was before something else, and now it is something else, or it is the same. There's no change.
That I don't know. People, when people are here, they experience an energy. Some people find Osho to be a beautiful being. Others just see him as a person with no special meaning to him. But we hold him very dearly in our hearts. And most people that come here already have a love of Osho. It's just some of our family members that come that are not involved with Osho, that don't have that kind of feelings for him. But we have a lot of people coming from all over the world, and they stay with us, they meditate with us, they find the energy here. We live in a wooded area of 100 acres, and we're isolated so that people can be free to be who they are, and they can experience Osho completely in our environment. And we have like I said, we have the meditations, we have the groups, we do most anything that can be done with the Osho environment.
We also have a little guest house that will sleep 6 people, that people can stay in if they want to come and stay a few days with us. They can stay there, and we have trails and creeks and waterfalls and a small lake they can swim in. And it's a very beautiful environment for meditating.
But there's not, we live so far out from everybody that we very seldom have anybody here who isn't really involved in Osho. And so what they see when they come here is Osho. They go into the sanctuary, they feel the energy that all the musicians and all the singers and all the guests and all the sannyasins have put into the sanctuary. And they get blown away by it all. It's very beautiful. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's...
Swamiji.
Yes.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just would like to ask one more thing. Like,
Sure.
how to stay relevant in such a fast-changing time, in a fast-changing life?
How does Osho's affect us in this changing life?
No, I'm just saying, I'm just asking to you how to stay relevant. Like, there's a fast changing life. There's so many changes are going on. Okay, so you just tell me about this, how we can stay relevant with the Bhagwan. Okay, Bhagwan saying or Bhagwan's uh, when we see, okay, because Osho have Osho is everywhere, okay, and it is like life is really fast changing.
Right. Well,
Right. How we can be a relevant
we're relevant simply because
with
we're
the,
here.
yes,
We're relevant because we exist. Now, how we exist is up to us. We have a chance to get hooked or addicted to a particular outcome, or we have an opportunity to flow with whatever's taking place. Most of what happens is our thought processes get in the way, and we start seeing things that we're addicted to. For example, if I have a certain political outlook, and that's the only thing I can see, and I get addicted to it, and anything that changes it, I get upset about. But you don't hit, but being in the moment, that you can say, okay, I see this is not the way I want it, but so what? Werner Erhard once said, everything, that which is obvious, that which isn't obvious is so what? And I think when people can start saying so what to what their addictions are, it starts to release a lot of the negative energy. And that's how you start to stay relevant. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be forceful, you can be loving, you can do whatever you need to do, but not hang on to what the outcome is, because you have no choice in what the outcome is. The outcome will be whatever it's going to be. All you can do is do what you believe is the right thing to do in the moment, and then let it go. And that's what I think Osho's biggest gift to me was to know that anything that I do totally. I don't do it halfway. And then once I've done it, I let go of it. And I think that's how you stay relevant in today's changing environment, is by seeing it, accepting it, but anything that you want to change in it, you do your best to change it, and then you let go of the change of whatever you've done. But to hang on to it is to cause a real dichotomy within yourself. It causes to have a yes on one side and a no on another side. And what you want to do is always have the yes. Even if you have a no, you got to have a yes to the no. So I think to be in the flow with what's taking place, you have to just see it, accept it, do what you can do, whatever that may be. And then you say, okay, now I'll go to the next moment and do whatever I can in that moment. And each new moment you come up and you have to say, okay, I can do what I can in this moment. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, But whatever it is, I will then take the next moment and work on that and see what happens. That's the only way to stay relevant. If you start to push it, you're fighting existence, and that's not going to get you anywhere.
When we were in Pune,
Thank you so much. Yes, yes, ma.
when we were in Pune, Osho told us to do Sufi dancing, and when we did Sufi dancing, there was a little song that we sang in Sufi dancing, and that song has become sort of a mantra for me. Ooh, life's the play. Whatever comes along, it's okay. Walk with wings and fly with feet. Drop your mind in total defeat. Nothing makes sense, no, nothing makes sense. And we ain't going nowhere.
That's our philosophy. And I don't know if you ever heard of, if you know of Popeye the Sailor Man. He has one statement that's so true. I am what I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, and that's where we stand. I am Osho's disciple. I am what I am. Malika's who she is, and as long as we are committed to who we are, not to what other people want us to be or what society thinks we should be, then we can keep flowing regardless of what takes place in the world. The world can keep doing its thing, and we can still be who we are.
Great. Swamiji, I would like to ask one more thing. The biggest challenge you experience as a sannyasi?
To be honest, I never had any big challenges. When I went to work at the University of South Florida, I wore the mala, I wore the colors. I was at the head of the psychology department in my unit. I wrote programs. I did everything. I taught meditation to the clients that I had. I never had a problem, and I've never had a problem being a disciple of Osho. I've never experienced any problems. Well, I should say my father and mother, they had a problem with me taking sannyas and giving up my name. But other than that, I've never had a problem with Osho. And my father finally, after a while, gave in. He never would call me by my sannyas name, but at least he started talking to me. My mother used to come to meditations with us. But of course, she would call Bhagwan because she just didn't refuse to be straight with it. But I don't know. Malika probably hasn't had any problems with it either. But I've never had an issue at work, in play, wherever I'm at. I wear the mala. No one has ever been negative toward me.
At the university where Isa was working, I worked downstairs with the adolescents, and I wore the mala and the colors, and there was no problem. The children and I got along great. It was very beautiful. We did the Vipassana meditation every day, but I had to call it relaxation because Vipassana might not have been the right thing to call it in the university setting, but the children loved it, and they would come and ask me, "Oh, when can we do relaxation? When can we do relaxation?" And it was really the Vipassana.
Yeah, well, we did the same thing up at our unit. We did 15-minute meditation 5 times a day for all the psychiatric clients. And the staff would sit in and do it. I would sit in and do it with them. So meditation became a big part of our therapy for the mentally ill. And the program that I wrote for the psychiatric unit was based on Osho's philosophy or statements plus a behavior modification program, where with thoughts were the things that we had to deal with and how to deal with those thoughts and change them and work on them. And that was the basis for all the problems that people were experiencing, whether they were psychotic or whether they were depressed. We worked with the thought process. And by working with the thought process, as Osho has so many times said, it's your thoughts that are the problem. That's what we worked on with them. And it worked out beautifully. We had a great results with that program. It was a research program, and we far exceeded our expectations.
An interesting note is that the staff that were doing this program with Isa, where we did the meditations and everything, we have remained friends with them. This was in Tampa, Florida. We have remained very close friends with them through the years, and some of them are sannyasins, and they come and visit us, and they still talk about the environment that we had there, and they have made it a part of their lives.
Yeah, the thing about Osho is that in the teaching of the stuff at the university, we didn't mention Osho's name because I don't think that would have gone over. But the staff wound up telling me that they were doing more and more of the stuff that we talked about themselves, and that it was extremely beneficial in their lives. So the things that Osho would teach, I taught, plus with the added thing of behavior modification with it. And it was very, very successful. And never had a problem. People from the state government would come in. They would go through our program. They had never had a word to say about it, and any negative words to say about it. So the question about problems that I've had, I just haven't had them. And I don't believe Malika's ever had them either.
No.
It's just, for us, it's been a lifelong gift that we are willing to share with anybody who wants it. And but we don't ever push it. We're not out trying to get converts. That's not our thing. If people want it through talking, they'll hear about it, and they may decide to come and visit us. That's how several people took sannyas with us.
So beautiful, Swamiji. Swamiji, there is one more beautiful question, because this is the most beautiful question of this session. Okay. So I would like to ask a gift you received from Osho, both Ma and Swamiji.
The gift that I received from Osho, I experienced,
of course.
The thing that I received from Osho was unconditional love, and I know what that is, because he didn't care whether what I was type of person I was. When I took sannyas with him, he was, from my experience, he was totally accepting of me. All of my faults, all of my things, didn't matter, because it was in the moment. And in that moment, he was totally accepting of me. And he, as far as I'm concerned, he has been ever since, even since he's left his body. I experience him when I go in to meditate, and I experience his acceptance. When I first went there and I had my dreams about him, I felt his acceptance. So that's what I have, the main thing that I feel from him, and I have gotten from him, which I'm hoping that I'm sharing with other people when I'm around them, is acceptance of who they are, and not trying to change anyone from being who they are to something else. Even when I was in the psychiatric units, doing what I was doing, I never attempted to try and change somebody from having hallucinations. If they had them, they had them. What I tried to do was to help them deal with the hallucinations. If they were manic depressive, I was trying to help them deal with their bipolar disease rather than trying to change them. So that's the gift that he's given me, is acceptance and love.
Well, basically, everything that
Yes,
Isa
ma'am.
said, everything that Isa said is also my experience. So, I'll just say a big ditto because everything he said is also true for me.
Yeah, except, it's really strange how the world it doesn't accept anybody. They want them to be the way they want them to be. And when they're not, they have a negative look at them. But when they are what they wanted them to be, they have a positive look at them. And then they're not really seeing the person. They're not seeing who that person truly is. If they're always looking at what they're how that person matches their desires of what they should be or shouldn't be. And what Osho has taught me through his own acceptance is that forget about what they were or what they can be or what have been. See them who they are in that moment. They can be loving, they can be caring, and whoever they are in that moment is who they are, not what they were or what they're going to be. And that's the biggest gift that Osho's ever given me, is I can see people for who they are. Now, I can't predict what they're going to be like the next moment, but in this moment, I accept that person who he is.
Yes, the connection was lost, Swamiji.
Okay.
Yes, Ma, you were telling something about the most beautiful gift you received from Osho.
Well, I was just saying that I received all the everything that Isa said. It was the same for me. It was just I was able to see myself and accept myself. I was able to see other people without projecting an image of who I wanted them to be. I could see and accept them for who they were in that moment, and then who they were the next moment, without placing expectations on them, but being totally in the moment with the person.
Yeah, that's the key that I think when Osho accepted me, and I didn't really understand it until much later, uh, probably years later, that I finally understood what acceptance truly was. And when I see people, it doesn't matter who they are or what they are. In that moment, I see them for who they are. And if in that moment they're doing something I find aversive, I just walk away. If there's something, I don't blame them for it. I don't try to change them. That's who they are. If there's something positive, I accept it. And I don't try to make anything big out of it. It's just what it is. Um, and what is the most important part of it all is that I'm true to myself. By being accepting of them, I'm much more accepting of who I am. And that to me is the gift that keeps on giving, that also keeps on giving to me over and over and over and over and over again, is that you have to accept yourself and love yourself. Not even love yourself. Love is can vary. It's acceptance. When you totally accept yourself, the world changes. The world is, you see the world differently. You see people differently, because when you accept you accept, I accept Malika, I accept you, I accept whatever you are in that moment is exactly what should be. It's like one time I wrote to Osho and he complaining about all the stuff that was going on in me. And he said, everything is as it should be. Meditate. And that's, to me, the answer. Everything is as it should be. If it were to be different, it would be different. And this way, I can be accepting of what is. I can do stuff to change, but then that's what is. And it keeps, what is always now. It's always now. It's never tomorrow or yesterday. It's always now. And so acceptance is always now. And when the next moment comes, that's now. And the next moment, it just never ends. And that's the teaching that Osho gave me.
Thank you so much, Swamiji and Ma. And I would like to say one more thing to all. Okay, so this is the most beautiful session, okay, which I've took till now, and we want, if you also want to join us with the BSR Media, you can also join us on the same number, okay, which is on, I'll be going to display on our screen. And yes, if it has, if you did not joined our channel, like subscribed our channel, so kindly subscribe our channel, so we'll be able to do some more beautiful program and relevant program like this. So this is our BSR Media's official WhatsApp number, 965001023. I'm repeating it. It's a 965001023. We are from India, so you have to prefix +91 the country code when you want to connect to us. So this was a very beautiful session, Swamiji and Ma. So thank you so much for being with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We would like to invite you and anyone listening to this to come here and meditate with us. You're always welcome.
So thank you so much, Ma, and thank you so much. Pranam.
You can donate and contribute to BSR Media through PhonePe, Paytm, Google Pay, Bheem, UPI using the same QR code. हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन ज़रूर दबाएं।